The Steelers riding into the home of the 9-2 Ravens, potentially on the brink of playoff elimination, and without their Hall of Fame quarterback leading the charge. We get a ride with our longtime backup, in year 15 of his career, Charlie Batch, one of Pittsburgh's finest. Batch could see the sun setting and had already started to transition to the booth. But as fate would have it, the football gods wanted to see what the old man could do one more time. And what a perfect game to potentially go out on, with a win over our division rival. Let's get it done. Good old Wacko Flacco takes the field first. Probably one of the more underrated quarterbacks in NFL history, but I also just can't get past Raheem Moore and his constant checkdowns. And oh dear, in case you needed a reminder what teams are playing today. I like how Ray Rice is trying to be the peacekeeper here. I mean, I guess they're not in an elevator. As if they're trying to make a statement, they come out passing the first 6 plays of the drive, getting a couple nice completions. But if you literally just pass with Joe Flacco, something will inevitably go wrong, and they have to punt it away. Name of the game for both teams, really. Win third down. And the Steelers are doing it better early. Upstanding citizen Jonathan Dwyer doing well setting up 3rd and short, and Batch continues to convert. Eventually a stop on first gets them behind on down and distance, and we're forced to call on Sean Sweezum, who was actually better than he got credit for. Speaking of, right down the middle. Baltimore switches it up and gives it to Ray Rice, who's no stranger to contact. The Ravens decide the best way to break the Pittsburgh D's with short gains on every play. It's no secret we have an affinity for cover 3 robber, and beating that kind of defense is a marathon, not a sprint. Just ask Jared Goff. But on 3rd and 3, the elite Joe Flacco throws it to his 8-foot-tall wide receiver, and they have to call on the GOAT, Justin Tucker. Red zone Redman outside the red zone. Todd Haley should be thrown in jail.
You didn't get rid of that.
Tobacco Flacco goes deep, and Cortez Allen with another huge breakup. What is this witchcraft? But as if he's trying to spite me, Flacco to Smith outside the numbers continues to rear its ugly head. Gotta hand it to him, they had the out-route West Coast thing down. And we go from Cortez Allen being arguably the Steelers' best defender so far somehow, to getting burned and taking the PI call. Brutal. And yet this defense doesn't blink and forces another 3. Could you even imagine that happening nowadays? This is a touchdown drive in 2022. Are we going to go 3 and out for the 3rd time in a row? You betcha. But thank God old Joey Flack is the Ravens starter. This might actually be one of the worst throws I've ever seen. Like, what was your plan exactly, Joe? Like, thank you. All we gotta do is avoid turning the ball over. And on that note, AB does his best Ben impression by chucking this one deep and hoping for the best, and Baltimore gets the ball right back. And on that note, Flackman throws up a duck, but Cortez Allen, who's actually in perfect position if this ball is actually thrown well, can't make the adjustment, and Anquan Bolden can. It worked so well the first time, let's do it again. Touchdown, Anquan Bolden. Gotta admit, that dude was a hell of a receiver. Inside 2 minutes, and it's a good play by the Heath man. Doesn't matter who the QB was, this guy was money. Batch drops the snap, but actually recovers pretty well. Vet stuff. But as if he's trying to make me contradict myself, it's the worst play of the day for the old man. Doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a 30-year vet going through a divorce. You can't have these kind of plays. Luckily, Sean Sushi gives us an easy 3. Look at these QB stats. AFC North football, I guess. Like most AFC North games, this one seems to boil down to who can make fewer mistakes and who can stay patient longer. Both teams just feel like they're running cover 3 every snap. I mean, who's going to make the big mistake in crunch time? 3rd and 3, Redmond stays in the backfield way longer than I'd be comfortable with, but picks up a big first. 2nd and 9, and like most catches in his career, Heath Miller is randomly open by 10 yards. What is it with this shit? Dwyer gets the call, breaks to the outside, and it's Charlie Batch with the lead block, and Dwyer's in for the touchdown. Holy shit, way to go, old man. This kind of stuff is why we love Charlie. Come hell or high water, that guy gave us everything he had when he stepped on the field. Tie game. 3rd and 26 with Joe Flacco. Not likely. Stuck in a 3rd and long, Batch finds Emmanuel Sanders for a big gain. And then one of the worst fumbles I've ever seen in my life happens. Flacco gets stuck in a 3rd and long, and in a perfect example of the leave Pitta alone defense, he simply decides to throw it to Pitta. 1st down. It's fine though. Responsible elevator user Ray Rice has nobody around him and takes it all the way to the house. Defense buckled like a cheap picnic table. Get your shit together, guys. Coming out in weak on 2nd and 13. Bold strategy, Cotton. But what do I know as Charlie finds responsible apartment furniture user Antonio Brown for a big gain. Big theme of AFC North football, 3rd downs. On that note, here's Emmanuel Sanders with another crucial drop. Maybe it was Ben's leadership that caused this, somehow. 3rd and 15, Flacco with a signature arm punt. This guy seriously had a t-shirt cannon for an arm, so why all the checkdowns, dude? Heath with his signature get hilariously open on every down thing gets us a free 10 yards. This guy ran a 4.87 40-yard dash. For reference, Jeremy Shockey and Jason Witten were both faster than this guy, and yet he was always open. Remember what I said about who's going to make the big mistake in the game? Batch tries too hard to make a play, and the Ravens' defense is excellent at capitalizing on that. Was that the big mistake? Defense has to step up now, and it's the Colt killer, James Harrison, making a huge play on the ball and getting us another chance at the end zone. Big props to Debo. Gotta capitalize, though. Batch takes the snap, surveys the field, and hits Emmanuel Sanders in a tight window. Big play by 2 guys that needed it badly. But that's not all. Batch rolls out and finds Heath Miller, who I can't stress enough is always f***ing open, and gets just enough for the touchdown. Tie game, and with all the momentum on the side of the black and gold. Bend, buckle, break. All of these factors, and the Ravens decide to open up with a bootleg to the fullback. Not gonna lie, crazy enough to work. Gotta respect it. Especially as a Wildcat truther myself. T-shirt cannon time from Joey Flack! Steeler D was so tough in these days, you may as well have just punted it on 3rd and long. And the Ravens are forced to punt it back to the shockingly cooking Charlie Batch. Tie game, couple minutes to go. And 38-year-old Charlie Batch has 1 drive left. Ball's in your hands in a must-win game versus our biggest rival. Not often do things align this perfectly. Go out there and put an exclamation point on a solid career, Chuck. 3rd and 7 right off the bat, and Batch has no problem finding Mike Wallace, and takes a cheap shot from Haloti Ngata. This guy would be thrown in jail if that was Tom Brady. Batch looks slow to get up, too. They decide to keep it short for the time being, and these runs and wide receiver screens are starting to show the toll they've taken in this grueling game. Ty Daly's offense wasn't great, but when it worked, it was tough to stop. 1 first down to go, boys. Close it out. Batch stands in and finds Mike Wallace again. And after about 74 no calls in this game, the refs finally call a roughing the passer to make this a chip shot field goal. It's clear Baltimore's game plan was to harass and physically intimidate Charlie Batch, as everyone knew he was on his way out. The old man had to lean on the toughness, and to his credit, he did better than I think anyone would have expected. He took shot after shot and got back up. And not only that, but the interception at the start of the 4th quarter really was a turning point, but in the opposite way that you'd expect. In the words of Mike T, he didn't blink.